What is your reaction to this view of John Lennon as a violent and mentally disturbed man?
I think it's rubbish.
There were so many accusations in the book, homosexuality, reclusiveness, even a bad musician. You know,
It's terrible. I think it's just rubbish. And I think the book is not worth anybody's money or time.
In a way, it's like a second assassination, isn't it?
Oh, it really is. And it was very painful for me and for Sean as well.
Goldman claims that he interviewed over 1,000 people. Well, this would imply that people close to you were involved.
Well, I mean, it's a claim. I mean, I don't believe that. But I really don't think the book is worth discussing even, you know. But I already made my statement in Sunday Times. And the reason for that was because some people thought that I should just totally ignore it, that it's not even dignified to mention about it. But this time around, because it was so bad, and they read me some excerpts, and I thought, oh dear. And I called Sean, who was in the summer camp. And I said, well, Sean, I'm sorry, but Mommy couldn't stop this book. And I know that some excerpts are going to come out in a magazine on Monday. And maybe some children in your camp might be reading, or maybe you'll just come across the magazine. So I'm just warning you. And Sean said, Mommy, please fight this one. I'll help you, and I'll do anything I can, so please help and fight it, you know. And I thought, usually I would just say, oh, rubbish, just let's ignore it. But I thought maybe he's right. It's affecting him as well. And even just for him, I thought I shouldn't be so uppity and just come out and make a statement at least.
And he's 12 years old?
Yes. Going on 13 in 2 weeks.
The Sunday Times did say that you had contemplated suicide when this thing...
No, I didn't say that. I just said that the first thought I had was about Picasso's widow, who did in fact commit suicide. And it just sort of flashed in my mind about her, because I always had a lot of respect for her, and also as another widow, I was caring about her as well. So.
What sort of reaction have you had from the other Beatles?
Well, I'm very glad that Paul came out and made a statement. That was very good of him, I thought.
Well, he was outraged.
I think so, yes. I mean, anybody would be outraged.
What do you think? Have you read the book or the extract?
I have absolutely no intention of reading the book.
Me neither.
John Lennon is one of my personal heroes. In fact, in my director's office, we have a picture of John Lennon, and we ask him every now and again if he thinks we've done a good programme. I mean that quite sincerely. And no, I think the book is junked, should be junked. And of course, I haven't read it, no intention of doing so. But
And you agree, Charlotte?
Absolutely. It
Well,
should be boycotted. I think there's absolutely no right for people to be able to write about these type of people just on hearsay, just on things that they've heard people say, because those people might have access to grudge. They're going to be saying things that perhaps they want to get a dig, maybe, for some reason. There's so much jealousy anyway always around. And I think it's absolutely outrageous, and it should be boycotted, a book like this.
Well, the law, I understand, and I found out about this, that is that if you're dead, anybody can write anything and you can't sue. So that, I think, is very bad. I think the law should be changed, don't you? Because it does affect a lot of people. And people like John, who's given a lot to the world, I think we shouldn't be doing that to him.
And you have no axe to grind other than to defend his name?
Well, I'd like to do that. Well, I mean, I think I did, in a way, by making a statement. I don't think we should labor on this negative situation. Hopefully that we can just go on and do something positive and forget it. By the way, do you like my jacket?
Yes, I think it's very colourful.
You know,
it's
because
lovely.
I thought, well, let's not be too depressed about it. Let's be colourful, you know. And so all the colours are clashing very nicely.
Interesting, you were saying about you having a photograph of John in the office and referring to it. I remember on this actual programme that Ringo said that he has seen John. This was earlier on, after the killing, when he was very emotionally disturbed about it. But do you feel a closeness still?
Well, of course. I mean, we were together 24 hours a day, and we had a kind of closeness that was very special. So I feel that I feel his presence
And how do you think he would have reacted to this nonsense that's being written about him?
Well, I don't want to talk for him. And, well, I just think that it's very sad that this sort of thing is printed because, I mean, there are a lot of lies in there too, you know, but also some facts that are totally twisted around. And so, well, are we still talking about the book, Michael?
Well, no, I mean, you, simply to say that you would never claim that you and he were angels.
No, we weren't angels. That's another thing was funny, because when a book like this come out, the other danger is to sort of like get totally defensive, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
And because I said I should come out and make a statement, and of course in the United States, I did meet a journalist, and the journalist was saying, well, you said you're going to be truthful. Well, you were always, John, and you were always known for being truthful, so let's get on with it, shall we? You know, I said, well, it's all right, you know. I said, well, how many acid trips did you have? Was it 500 or 1,000? So I said, well, you know, of course we didn't have that much. And he was saying, well, shall we say 100? I said, well, it's very unfair because we don't, you know, I mean, of course not 100, but then 50. So I said, oh, well, you know, I don't remember. You know, actually we don't remember those things so well, do we, you know? And so I got terribly depressed about it all, and I came home and I sort of said to Sean, look, you know, they're talking about these drugs and things, and well, I'm very sorry about this. I'm sure that you're going to get some flack too. And we really didn't do very much drug, you know. And in fact, we did very little. And he was going like, well, I can't say very little, maybe not that little. And he said, well, Dad and you did a fair amount of drugs, shall we say. Yeah, fair amount, oh, that sounds good. Fair amount, you know. And, but that's what it is. Well, you know, you get so defensive that you feel like you want to say, we didn't do anything, you know. But that's wrong too, I think. And all this should be not taken too seriously. I mean, we're talking about 60s. All of us went through a lot of experiments, but we all went through it and came out on the other end, didn't we?
Are you going to write about it yourself? Are you planning your own book?
That too, I'm not sure, because part of me feels that I don't really want to write when I'm so defensive about it, or when I have to be so defensive about it. And that's why when all the sort of bad books came out initially in '83, people were saying, well, are you going to sue them, or are you going to write your own book, etc. And I had to really have a soul searching. And then I decided that I should not really waste my precious energy and time focusing on something so negative, but maybe hopefully by doing something positive that we can forget about them, see.
Well, let's talk about the positive thing.
Yes.
Let's talk about the exhibition. Tell us
Right.
about it.
The gallery show that's open on Monday in the what is it, the Business Center in
Yes.
Islington. And it's John's first gallery show after his death in London.
What it seemed that the man missed when he wrote the book was John's sense of humour, and that didn't seem to come into any extract that I read. And we've got here a little quirky...
Well, come to the gallery show and you'll see John's sense of humour and warmth and everything that you remember about John.
Now, John's life is, of course, apart from what we've been talking about, is anyway just about one of the most documented lives in the 20th century. And you've distilled a lot of this into a 2-hour film, haven't you, called Imagine.
Less than 2 hours, I think. Yeah. About 2 hours, yes.
And that comes out in October.
Yes.
I think the others will agree that that is how we want to remember John Lennon.
I can't understand why Yoko is so tolerant. I mean, I would want to disembowel the guy that wrote that. I really would. I admire your tolerance, but I think you'd be better off screaming from the top of your voice that the guy is a... You know, you can't say it at this time of the day, can you, on television? But he is, and he should be... You should say so. I'd feel better that way.
You'd boil him in oil because, of course, that's your way of doing things.
Yeah.
Do you
I'm
find...
the son, you know, so I have to be proper and, you know, get on with it.
Yes, you are his mother, quite. Is the memory fading after 8 years?
No, not at all. And especially because I'm doing these things. I promised the fans that until John's 10th, that I would bring out something of John every year, and which is what I intend to do. And this documentary film, and the book that goes with the documentary film, which is really a very sweet book. And this gallery show, all this is part of that.
You're still living in the same Dakota apartment. Why are you doing that?
Well, I don't really know. I mean, this year I suddenly thought, what am I doing? I was sitting here 7 years, you know. But it's that feeling that it's very, I suppose, it was very difficult for me to think about anything but just to sit there all this time. And now maybe I'm ready to walk, I don't know. But Sean decided that he wanted to study, well, he wants to study in Europe. Actually, he decided that he wanted to study in London, and then the compromise I had to make, well, I had to ask him to make, was to study in Europe instead, because if he started to study in London now, I don't think he's ready to deal with the Fleet Street people and all that, you know. So maybe another 2 years or so that he could be in a sheltered environment, and then maybe if he really wants to still, then he could come to London and study. But it seems like he's starting to suddenly want to look into his father's roots. And so that's what he said, and that's how we came here this time.
What about the two boys? We saw them both on the film there, Sean and Julian. How do they get on? Do they know each other well?
They love each other. They are very protective of each other. And Julian is in LA now. So Sean is always visiting Julian in LA. And they have a very close relationship, I think.
Do either of you have special memories of John, Charlotte? Do you picture him in any special way?
I was at your wedding, Yoko, but you didn't know I was. Yes.
Amazing.
There's a lot of other people too there, which was an extraordinary experience. I just remember him with deep admiration, and think of him as and the Beatles as absolute symbolic of a certain part of my youth and a certain part of, I think, a lot of young people's lives.
Well, I wish you had said hello to us then.
Yes. Didn't know.
Keith?
Oh, I think he's one of the world's great rock and rollers, for sure, for rock and roll. I love him to bits. And I also, I mean, like those songs like Working Class Hero. You know, when life gets quite, for me, life's been dreadful a lot at the time. And you listen to some of Lennon's songs, you know, Don't Let Me Down and Ballad of John and Yoko and stuff like that. And they're pretty good. You can carry on. And I don't mean that lightly. I mean, I really do. Lennon as well, like with you, I mean, a very important person in my life. I still have all his records. I play them a lot, you know.
Does being married to a musician, which both of you, one is and one has been, does it impose certain stresses on you? Are they normally difficult people to live with?
I think it's so much on the individual. I think the musician has a very strong secret world which nobody can connect with, because music is so intangible, and the creation of it is done in such a solitary way, in a sense, that but in a sense it's wonderful, because there is a connection with a musician which I think is unique, because there are certain things that you just don't talk about, but you can feel, and you can feel it by living with a musician. You can feel the sounds.
But I mean, it's inspiring each other and all that, isn't it? And I think that John was a kind of Renaissance man, in a sense of it wasn't just music, but he was into the arts and all that too. And the sensitivity, the particular sensitivity that he had, or maybe musicians in general, but is a kind of sensitivity that would make people become more tender and caring as well. So it wasn't that very difficult to live with.
But having all of this, I suppose, been part of that explosion of the 60s, do you think that it makes you more keen to give your child a conventional upbringing, even a strict one.
Yes, well, I feel that Sean should get the freedom of growing in the way he wants to grow, but also I'm very caring about making sure that he's healthy and he knows what's what, not getting too out of hand. But you see, that's another thing that's very interesting about this generation, I mean Sean's generation. I wonder if you've noticed that about your sons too, but they're very much like that themselves. They're very careful, caring, and health-oriented, I think. So we don't really have to worry about the future generation so much.
Are you feeling...
Yeah,
Don't you think
agree.
so? They're not
extremely
like
wise.
us. They're not wise.
No, and they don't
right?
want to. They don't want to necessarily...
They're not reckless.
No, they don't want to be reckless.
So-
It's quite
Mothers must be
strange.
very different from fathers. My eldest son, Patrick, is a prodigy of, God help him, me and a wife I once had, and he was... he was brought up when ladies threw away their bras, heaved the washing machine out and went to rock concerts instead, and he is a very kind, gentle, caring person. He's incredibly tolerant. And I wish, again, that he wouldn't be so... I disagree. I wish he would be much more...
Reckless.
Assertive?
Assertive and so on. Yes, I do.
But
And he's a
sometimes-
brilliant bloke, you know, but he's so tolerant about everything.
But that's this generation,
It's this
isn't
generation,
it? And
yes.
maybe it's
I feel
easier
for them because I'm terrified they can be more easily hurt, you know. They don't seem to have
true.
the inherent barriers or the skin that they need to take the knocks.
Mums and dads worry. That's what we do, and that's the end of that. You survived some critical batterings over the years, Yoko. What does the future hold for you personally?
Well, I don't know. I hope that it's going to be good.